Basra doesn't really have a traditional insurgency. What it has is a local power struggle between various elements of Baswari society, all of whom are Shiite, but there's different factions within the Shiite Brotherhood there, and they're all struggling for control. You've got traditional tribal types, you've got militias, and then you've got a police force that's deeply rooted in the local community and has been in place for many of these officers have been here for decades. Unlike the army, the police force was never disbanded. So these guys have a stake in wanting to be in charge in Basra. The police are probably the worst perpetrators of violence. I mean, they're well armed, they're well equipped, and the worst deeds allegedly perpetrated by the police force is they supposedly run death squads that drive around the city at night in police cars and murder either former Ba'athists or rivals or people suspected of collaborating with the British. In polls the British forces have conducted in Basra, Baswaris have consistently said that one of the things they're scared of the most is their police force. They blame not only the cops for that, they blame the British for that. Because the British are supposed to be the greatest power in the land. So if somebody underneath them is running amok, it's the Brits' fault. So reforming the police force is one of the keys to winning back the city. The Brits have got to show that they're genuinely in charge.
Hello, Colonel.
Salam. Switch of the room.
Yeah, he's going to give us. Oh, good man.
The Brits identify the worst police stations and they send in police trainers. So these police teams, either military police or civilian police, will go into a police station. They'll take a census of the police force, figure out how many cops are there, what kind of equipment they've got, where are they from, what kind of education do they have, because they can't really root out the bad ones until they know who's there. So I went on a patrol with a Royal Military Police unit, and we conducted a census at a Baswari police unit.
What we need to go and achieve today is to finish off asking the station commander questions with regards to the police station monthly report. All this information gets compiled into a report which goes towards the transition readiness assessment, which all goes towards the provincial Iraqi control and the handover of control. Certainly, Warwickshire Police role today is to go and give the Iraqi policemen literacy tests, just see how they perform, and also to gather G2 information on the Iraqis.
What's G2 information?
G2 is intelligence information. We're doing profiles on each policeman. It all goes towards keeping an eye on which police station they're assigned to, what history they've got, what courses they've done, and hopefully in the future this will be updated at regular intervals.
Alright, sorry.
What's the station called, Stacey?
This is the City Reaction Force.
What does that mean?
They act as a quick reaction force. Any public order disturbances in the city.
Riot police.
Deploy, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Right, get set up as usual. If we could get his men on point. Tell them that we're here today to conduct a few tests. We'll be sat up in the room just up on the top there, where we'll give them a writing and a reading test. Yeah, and then they'll come in here to have a few details filled out and then a photo taken.
All his men?
Yeah.
Okay. تطلب منك شنو؟ جمع الرجال كلهم
The first problem we identified at this police station is that they had way too many cops. Every police station is authorized by local government, or if it's a federal police, by Baghdad, to have a certain number of cops. And they're budgeted accordingly, and they're given weapons accordingly, and they sort of fit into the whole policing scheme accordingly. But local commanders, because they're part of this whole power struggle, will bring people into their force to beef up their strength, or they'll bring them in to try to present them to the governing authorities and say, look, I've got X number of cops, I need to get paid X number of dinars to pay these cops. And so having people on your roster is sort of leverage for prying more money out of the government, not all of which will be passed on to the cops who are actually entitled to it. So we identified that this police station had perhaps a full 30% more than it should have had. Also, in conducting literacy tests, we discovered, as with in many police stations in Iraq, not all the cops were literate, even though it's a requirement of being a policeman in Iraq, because you have to be literate in order to take the training courses, and the training courses are required. So the Brits brought a simple question and answer test, like a multiple choice question, and the point wasn't really to see if they got the right answers, but to see if they could understand the test at all. And for those who could actually read it, though, cheating was rampant. So the Brits brought multiple copies of the test and made sure that as these policemen were taking the test, they were never sitting next to somebody with an identical copy.
What number? 22 minutes. شكرا.
The leader of the patrol I was on, the police trainer patrol, was Stacy Jackson from the Royal Military Police. This petite, blonde, blue-eyed young woman, and the Iraqi cops just fell all over her. There aren't a lot of blonde women in Iraq. A lot of them were just really curious, and so there's a lot of cell phones getting whipped out and little pictures taken. And she actually had to, at a point, crack down on this picture taking and say, "Look, we've got work to do."
So, Stacey, what kind of results can we expect?
With regards to the literary test?
With regard to the literacy test?
Certainly, it's come as a bit of a surprise to us. The literacy level is higher than we initially anticipated. So if it follows suit, then good results are coming out of these literacy tests. The results will then get passed to Baghdad. On the overall result from this visit, obviously the objective was to bring the police station up to a higher TRA level, which is Transition Readiness Assessment level. At the moment, this police station itself is bordering on a amber to yellow, I believe, and we're hoping to get up to a green. Certainly as a result of these visits, we've put together a 30-day plan which involves our assistance to this police station to help with such things as facilities, such as toilets, such as generators, vehicles, try and bring them up to a standard as well, which we can bring them to, which they can maintain, keep on top of, and then just try and crack on their own, as it were, try and be self-sufficient and see how they run with things. We'll then step into an overwatch position and then monitor them from a distance. Instead of coming in all these visits, just monitor them from a distance from then on in. Excuse me.
Since I left, I've kept in touch with some of my sources in Basra, and every indication is that the Brits are only gaining momentum on this. The idea was never that it would be just a short-term thing. They identified neighborhoods that needed attention, and we're moving into them one by one. So it seems like they're about at least halfway through the overall operation.